Hey everybody, what's going on? Eddie here, and welcome back to King's Court. And let's just get right down to it because there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to the NBA free agency, the best free agency in all of sports, of course. And let's just start off with the biggest news for the Clippers, really re-signing Nicholas Batum. It's crazy because just yesterday, his wife was tweeting about uh, the Clipper Nation saying, "Oh, regardless of what happens, I love my time here with the Clippers Nation," and it was scary for a lot of us Clipper fans. It definitely sounded like they were looking for better options or bigger options almost anywhere else, and it was really scary for the Clippers. But for him to ultimately decide to come back to the Clippers is big news. Now all the Clippers have to do is, with the now signing of Nick Batum and Serge Ibaka, get back Kawhi Leonard and Reggie Jackson. I've seen a lot of people discuss different options for Reggie Jackson. I've seen Devonte Graham, Spencer Dinwiddie. I've seen a big load of guys. So for Reggie Jackson to ask for a big bag, yes, it makes sense, especially after his playoff performance. But he's hopefully realistic about the situation. You definitely want to get your money, but if you want to win, which is ultimately why you play so good, um, I guess in the end, would be to win a championship. And what better situation right now than the Clippers, right? As of right now, I believe he has a starting job, and I don't think anyone else on the Clippers roster or anyone out there could compete with such a thing. So maybe at least have one more run back and then go out there and possibly look for places that are gonna pay you big bucks. But hopefully he's not asking for something too crazy because the Clippers do want him back. However, they don't want to get rid of the cap space to sign maybe one more great player. Like DeMar DeRozan was an option until about half an hour ago. He ultimately is looking to sign with the Chicago Bulls. That's the biggest news right now. And although I don't think the Bulls are going to be amazing by any means, it'll definitely help them in the short term. DeRozan definitely brings something to the table, and I think Levine should still be the dude to be taking shots, but DeMar DeRozan will definitely take some attention off of him. And Lonzo dishing it out to those two guys, I think is going to be a good show. Given that DeMar DeRozan still has some highlights in him, I don't consider him old yet, but you would think that a guy his age, by this point of his career, he's gonna look to shoot more mid rangers than look to finish above 7 footers at the rim. That's just my take on that. So with that said, let's move on to Kyle Lowry joining the Miami Heat. Uh, it's definitely a big signing. Kyle Lowry will definitely bring something to the Miami Heat, joining Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. But with Miami signing Kyle Lowry and with the free agents that Miami is losing, albeit um, Andre Iguodala, Kendrick Nunn, as far as I know, he's still on the table. He hasn't been offered a contract. Uh, who else am I missing? I know someone. Oh, Duncan Robinson just signed today, I think it was. So he'll be fine. But Dragic, they're definitely moving on from Dragic. He's not a player that I think was a bad player for the Miami Heat. He just, I guess, uh, just doesn't offer as much as what Kyle Lowry would, and I definitely agree with that. Younger, off a championship, of course, and I wouldn't hold it against Dragic for not having it in him, but he could definitely bring something to some other team, given that he's still 100% health wise. And if he could find a team that's willing to pay him or at least even give him a chance, I think he should look into it. If you wanted to win a championship, I guess you're gonna have to take a big cut. But if you're looking for money, I don't see Dragic getting it anywhere else if Miami wasn't willing to give it to him. But Miami, I think they'll make noise this time. Uh, Assuming that Kyle Lowry answers what Tyler Hero couldn't last season. He was big in the bubble, but ever since then he hasn't handled the situation great. So I definitely think Kyle Lowry is a big upgrade for the Miami Heat. Now, how about some guys that have not gone signed from big contenders like Paul Millsap? I haven't seen any news on Paul Millsap getting any offers from the Denver Nuggets. It's it's looking like Denver is gonna move on from him. Uh, Paul Millsap definitely brought a lot to the team, and I don't blame them for moving on. But he was definitely crucial for a lot of their runs last, well, I guess the bubble season and this past season. A lot less this past season, but if he was on their priority list, I think they would have offered him more money by now, um, or at least even a contract, really. Because Paul Millsap, yeah, he's up there in age. What is he, like 35, 36? But he brings like IQ to the game, and then I think he was meshing well with Nikola Jokic, and I don't see too many other bigs doing the same right now. Oh, well, if they get a trade, I haven't heard too many players that the Nuggets are looking to trade for, but for them to not look into Paul Millsap, it feels like they're going to give up on him, but I would think twice. I think he brings a little something with Nikola Jokic. It's just the perimeter that you need to work on. Apart from Jamal Murray, who else do you have? I guess Aaron Gordon too, but I think he plays more inside than anything. So that's why I think they should just look into getting better guards and not so many players that assist, because you have Jokic. Just let him be the man that finds everyone and dishes it out, because he'll get buckets for sure. And now for the Lakers, I think they would have been an amazing team had this team been assembled 10 years ago. Uh, they got a lot older. It's funny because they actually were one of the younger teams when LeBron first joined, but then all of a sudden they just banked in on a lot of guys older than 32. And it's definitely win now mode for them, especially with the recent signing of Carmelo. I don't think the Blazers will miss him. Yeah, he hit good buckets towards the end. Well, actually, all season, but he's definitely replaceable by this time of his career. I don't think the Blazers are in trouble by any means. It sounds like Lillard is gonna stay. It's been very quiet out there for what he's for how he's been. Yeah, he's in the Olympics, but the NBA, it's a business. They keep moving, and if players are practicing and having competitions overseas, but still signing contracts or agreeing to contracts all the way back here in the United States, yeah, there's definitely a lot of things going on. But anyway, the Lakers, yeah, signing Howard, Carmelo, Ariza, losing Caruso. I don't think it's a big deal. Uh, it's crazy to think that these guys will ultimately be having an all-in season. They probably have no more picks. I don't know for sure, but the Lakers are definitely banking in on the rest of LeBron's prime. I still think he's in his prime. I still think he's the best player in the world, and they're assembling a team that's very questionable in my opinion. And I don't see it as a championship for sure team. I still think it's going to be Brooklyn, with them signing. Who did they just sign? Patty Mills. He's definitely going to be trouble playing with the Brooklyn Nets, because that guy does damage. You've seen him play with the Australian team. If you let him loose, he'll definitely get you a bucket. Definitely, I see him doing a lot of good for Brooklyn from here on. Um, I don't think Brooklyn needs Spencer Dinwiddie anymore. Just get rid of him. You don't need to sign him. You don't need him. You have too many scorers. How about looking into defense? I would look into trying to get rid of DeAndre Jordan. He's not the guy that he once was. So move on from him. You definitely need to replace Jeff Green. He already is gone from the Brooklyn Nets. That's a big loss, I think, and in a way a big plus for the Nuggets. Maybe he'll be the answer for the absence of Paul Millsap, but who knows? But anyway, the Brooklyn Nets, they for sure need a big. I guess, a wing that's willing to give it their all, that can space the floor, that can defend. I think Jeff Green brought that to the table. He's going to be missed from the Brooklyn Nets. As for Chris Paul remaining with the Phoenix Suns, I don't blame him. I would have liked him to move on from the Suns, but I think that was the only team willing to pay him big and give him I guess long-term contract. 3 years, is that a lot? uh, he he definitely brought that team back on the map. I see the Suns getting a lot of attention next season. So it makes sense that he's still signing with them. I would have liked him to go elsewhere, but that's just not how things work in the NBA. It's about the player and their interest, and also the mutual interest of the businesses that or franchises that they're signing into. So, good option for him. That's a good place for him. I for sure thought Chris Paul was going to retire in his 32, 33 age range, because I remember when he was with the Clippers, he didn't plan to play long, he said in an interview, because he wanted to be with his son and his family while they grow up. But the man, I guess he wants to win too much. So at age 36, he's still going hard, and I love it. But I don't want to see him win with the Suns. Not with Devin Booker, actually. So hopefully the NBA is manipulated and turned into a greater competition, and also that the players are a lot healthier. There's skepticism about the play-in tournament going on, but we'll just talk about that when the season comes in, or at least the back end of the season. So I don't want to make this video too long. I know there's a lot of things to cover. There's still a lot of big names out there that we could discuss, and I also don't want to have to cram a lot more free agency talk throughout the week and in bursts. I guess just follow me on my Twitter, MR_E Reyes Barron. That's MR_E Reyes Barron on Twitter. I'll definitely be updating. I haven't been lately, but that's because there's a lot of things going on for me right now. So this is definitely it's a lot of names, a lot of contracts to keep up with, but I'll do the best I can. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, I don't want this video to be long, so I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out, and have a good one, everybody.